Ladies and gentlemen, this is taking me 3 times to do. This is the 4th episode of In the Corners with Reese
Right
Savoy
on.
and Matt Good. Yeah, we're excited to bring you some BCIHL happenings from around the league. The Vikes got up to 2 games, 2 away games. Not the result they were looking for, but a lot more details to come on that. Wasn't as clear cut as the result may say.
Right.
So we're going to get into that. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Reese. Happy to be with you talking about the Vikes and hockey.
Yeah,
Things are
3
good.
times
We're
in a
having a
row.
blast. We're having a blast already.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get into this with you. We got a new
I
game
know.
today.
Yes.
And man, I'm just happy to see the Vikes out there. I'm lucky I got to watch a couple of the games. And because the Vikes schedule a little bit lighter to start the season, pretty soon they're going to be at home playing a bunch of games in Victoria. We're here to get into it, get in the corners.
We are. So right off the bat, let's go into that October 7th game. What happened? We were in the Okanagan. The Lakers took a regulation win after being 3-0 up in the first period. The final score was 4-2 for the Vikes. Give us a nice little rundown of what happened, Matt.
My pleasure. Well, like you said, the Lakers, they jump out to a 3-0 lead. The Vikes look a little bit tentative, a little bit of a lack of urgency. They started Pilon in that game. Lakers are going with Daniel Paul. They like their goaltending for the Lakers. The broadcast team, I listen to them. They're great. They love the goalie there. There's a player named Bailey there. He came up with the best team ever, Weyburn Red Wings, one of the best teams from Saskatchewan. He got 3 points. But the one thing I like to see is the Vikes turn it around the second period. They respond, they get it into a 1-goal game. They basically take the game back from the Lakers, it looked like. Noah Kelly, Eddie, and Connor Nolan. Those guys are in on the first goal. And then the second goal, Durant's awesome play by Withy, the assistant captain, on a forecheck. One of my favorites from the year so far. He went and just stole the puck. And you love to see it, as we like to say on the show. You love to see that. You should have seen the goal, Reese. You would have loved it.
I would have loved to see it, but honestly, from what I hear, it just sounds like another thing you can add to the list of the veteran moves being made by the seniors for the Vikes.
I love to see that when they go down and take the puck, because the Vikes, the forwards aren't huge in stature, but they can play that way.
Yes.
They can go down and so 3-2 game going into the third period, Pilon really holds them in there. I mean, they get 37 shots, the Lakers do. The shots are pretty even during this game. Voss, he's in there on the forecheck, body checking. He really turned the tide back for the Vikes. Awesome game from Voss.
Love to see that.
And then the Lakers, they there's kind of a broken play. Okay. There's a backhand that comes out of the corner, and it just kind of goes along the goal line and sneaks in under the skate of a Pilon. That's the goal that makes it 4-2. Takes a bit of the wind out of the sails. Lakers get a late power play that kind of takes some of the wind out of their sails again. The Vikes pull the goalie with a minute and a half left. They can't quite get the game there. So the Lakers take that one. But the Vikes, they hold the possession time. They're in the offensive zone a lot, and that's going to be a sweet matchup. The Lakers and the Vikes all season.
That will be good.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, you have to look forward to it, especially now that the standings look the way they do. Obviously, there's only been 3 games played by one team. Everybody else has played 2, so it's very early to be saying things like this. But the Lakers are on top of the standings, right? So they got that extra point from the OT loss to the Mariners. And, when you're seeing the scope of which teams compete or match up well against the other teams, it gives you a better idea of what the Vikes should be able to do with them, is what I thought beforehand.
Yeah.
But with these 2 games, I was proved a little bit wrong. Now, not to go ahead too much, but the game on the 8th was very different from the game on the 7th. But one thing that I liked against the Lakers game, the October 7th game, is that, they have a bad start. Teams have bad starts, especially that was their first regular season game. No, that's their season opener. Yeah. So there's going to be rust. There's going to be issues. There's going to be things you're going to run into, but they do a very good job of getting those two quick goals. Well, I guess not quick goals, but two goals in the second period to make it a 3-2 game. Now you're looking at a completely different game. That 3-0 breakdown in the beginning doesn't look as bad, but they get into the third period. Like you said, they battle hard. They fight, but a shaky goal demoralizes the team a little bit, and the Lakers go home with a win. Now, one thing you can kind of take away from that is what exactly was the death of the Vikes in this one? Was it the bad start? Was it the, lack of offensive efficiency in the third period? I think you forget about both of those aspects and you remind yourself of who they just played and what they did against that team that they just played, right? So we know that the Lakers are not a team to be messed with. We know that this standings is going to be tighter than what we're used to, especially compared to last year. And you got to be happy. You got to be happy in the areas you can be happy about as when you're supporting a team, and to bring it to 3-2 against the, league leading team. That's something, right? So what can that let us know about the future? We'll make some mental notes based on what we saw, and but
the Vikes, they go in there. Lakers are feeling good about themselves. They're starting at home. They're playing all these games at home. So they got their mojo going. They got Nemeth, Bailey, nice defenseman called DeShepper. Again, their goalie is going to be tough this year. The Vikes, it's not easy to go start your season down there. Lakers already have it going on. So we'll see how the Lakers do when they come back to the Vikes rink. And it's going to be a good matchup. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, just to kind of conclude our review of the Lakers and Vikes game, you love to see the Vikes put in a good fight after the first period. That was clearly a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a one-sided first period. They come back in the second and third, like you said, took the game a little bit away from the Lakers. So what can they do to repeat that same success in the next time they meet up, or at least when they play another team, right? Which is going to lead us into the next game, which was against SFU on the 8th of October. And it was a 10-2 win for the SFU. Kind of break down what you saw before I get into it.
You got it. Well, some of the freshmen they draw in, Spears, Braun, and Brown were the fourth line. Hermery, he took the night off, and Magic, they were out. The first period, after the first period, it was 2-2. The Red Leafs, they got a guy named Parkhouse. He gets the first couple goals for them. Connor Nolan on the power play. The Vikes, they can hang with the Red Leafs on the power play. Connor Nolan, he plays with Deugau, kind of as a, when they put a skilled forward on defense.
Yes.
The coach likes to do that a little bit. So
yes.
That's Nolan for the Vikes. He had an awesome weekend. I really like him as an offensive leader.
Nice.
So far, but they got a lot of players that can score. Braun from Spears and Pickett. That's the second goal for the Vikes. It's 2-2 after the first. Then the Red Leafs start pulling away a little bit. They get a goal. The Vikes they get some scoring chances, try to equalize. The Red Leafs make it 4-2. The Vikes again, they get a couple scoring chances there. Nolan and Kelly on the cycle. They're cycling it down there. The Hirosh, he's playing in net for the Red Leafs. He made a big save off of Connor Nolan when it was 4-2.
Okay.
So, that things are pretty within reach for the Vikes, but then the goals start to come in flurries. The wheels kind of fall off a little bit. They scored a couple goals towards the end of the second period, right quick, like within 14 seconds apart. So then the third period, the Vikes put in Drapeau, and he kind of takes it on the chin. He gets hung out to dry a little bit. He lets in 4 in the third. That's what makes it 10-2. A big part of the game, though, more than half of the game is within reach for the Vikes. And that's kind of what I saw. I watched the game yesterday. What do you think about that one, Reese?
Well, I think it kind of contributes to a point that I've been raving about since the first episode, which is controlling breakdowns. Now, specifically, I was talking about breakdowns at the blue line for the Vikes during our preseason games I saw against the Mariners. There were a lot of goals. I'd say about 4. I can't give you exactly which games they were, but I can tell you just from doing the play-by-play for the 2 games, if I were to compile what I saw, a thing that I kept seeing was chances come against the Vikes due to bad puck management along the blue line. Now, I feel like that kind of stretches into this a little bit with just breakdowns in general. The severity of this breakdown is what makes the first and second period effort obsolete, right? Because of the dip in performance, it just creates a complete different notion for what the actual game was, right? So the result tells you is 10-2. So when you look at that result, you go, okay, so the Vikes might have got smashed the whole game. They could have, had a 1 or 2 chances off a power play and scored just 2 and, walk away with an abysmal 10-2 loss. But that's not what happened. Less than 5 minutes left in the second period. It's still 2-2. And the Vikes are playing fine. Pilon's playing fine in between the pipes and things are working out. And then a couple goals come their way. And instead of bouncing back, they just keep breaking down. They keep letting them score. And teams can have breakdowns. Teams can have, rusty starts. But what I think could possibly hurt this Vikes team is not being able to manage the severity of the breakdown. So if that breakdown is going to happen, you got to find your way to get back on your feet quick, or else it becomes 10-2. Right. So it's a matter of, you have to, when you are, sacrificing your defensive efficiency so you can have more offensive efficiency in terms of moving the puck around, or pushing up the line so you can make quicker passes, whether it be a power play or 5-on-5. You have to know that if that puck comes down the other way, you better have a get out of jail free card, whether it be a D-man who knows that he's the guy to use his wheels to get back, or you have a D-man sitting high enough that where if that puck goes through, he's that guy, their forward, the opposing team's forward isn't going to have a clear day to just go score on the goalie, right? So in conclusion, pretty much it's, can the Vikes monitor the severity of a breakdown? Because again, even in the NHL, you can, even if you're Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche, it doesn't, you could be the best in the, you can have breakdowns. It's the game of hockey. Everybody's an able-bodied human. They're able to score. If they can score, they can score. So it doesn't matter if you're playing the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. You just have to monitor in which, how bad the breakdown is going to be. Breakdowns shouldn't last more than 2 minutes. If you could see the players get tired, they get caught on a change, pucks move and scores. What are we going to do from here, right? Are we going to stay in panic mode and then let them keep scoring? Which is, I think that's the lesson they learned against SFU.
It's a good observation, Reese. I mean, the BCIHL, one thing we've seen a lot so far is flurries of goals. Teams starts feeling good about themselves. They can pop in 2 or 3 pretty quick. So on the defensive side, as the season goes along, we'll see how the Vikes can gel defensively. They got a lot of new players that are great, right? We love their players, their skill. But the other side of the coin is they're all new to each other too. Yes. So, some of the defensemen, the coach is still trying to find matchups. Some of the freshmen, they pile up a bunch of goals in the other leagues and they come over here and they're just getting used to it.
Right.
So, 10-2 early in the season, it kind of is what it is right now. You kind of got booted around over there in Burnaby. But on the other hand, they were hanging tough with them. They were going down there. They were forechecking, and as the team builds a bit of an identity, they'll be right there with the Red Leafs throughout the season.
Exactly. Seeing the actual breakdown of the games, you can see that it was almost, and not to, absolve any success or praise for the other teams that took the wins in the Lakers and SFU, but rather it seems that the mistakes are what is hurting the Vikes. And if they can round out those mistakes, then like you said, they can hang 2 periods with SFU, no problem. They can hang with the Lakers as well. They can make a comeback, put 2 goals on them, put them right on their heels, right? And have them, even have them on their heels almost the whole game. It's just a lucky goal that gives them that cushion, right? And any other game, so many other scenarios could pan out, right? So it's all a matter of what are they going to learn from these 2 games? And honestly, more importantly, let me just erase the fact I was about to point out, and I think, overtake it with a more important point, which is there is, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of depth on this Vikes team. So it's not going to be that easy to stay in the lineup for these guys, right? And, not to name any names, they if they have a bad game, it's not going to be, oh, I had a bad game, but I'm a starter, I'm a senior, I'm a this, I'll play it. No, not with this team, right? This is not last year where it was a little bit slim pickings. Right now, they have depth and they have lots of freshmen. They have lots of guys. When you know what they say, like when adversity comes
Yeah,
opportunity, right? So
right.
if that all that opportunity is going to wake, I mean, even for Pilon, nothing against him, not that any of this was his fault by any means, but there's 3 goalies, I think there's 4. So when you have that, competitiveness is just going to go up, and you're almost dumb not to execute that depth, right? Not to take use of that depth that your team has, right? So yeah,
Yeah, we see it down there at the rink when we broadcast games. A lot of
exactly.
players in the press box, they're dressed up, they're hanging out. They have a good unity as a team. They're well
Yes,
mannered. They help us set up the speakers and stuff. We
exactly.
see them around. They have a nice way of good feeling about the team. Yeah, maybe it's just a little time that this is their first road trip together too, right? Their
Right.
first time leaving school, going to play. So we'll give them a little pass on that. But they got schooled. They got schooled down there, and by the returning champs. So we'll
Yep.
see what happens. I'm excited to see the Red Leafs come in to play the Vikes when we get back to business down there. What do you think about this 10-2 loss here? Is there any other thing you want to mention before we move on?
Honestly, the last thing I'll mention is the result looks uglier than the actual game. Their performance was a lot better than
Yeah,
that, but like I was saying earlier, it's about controlling the severity of the breakdown, or else every game is going to be 10-2, and that's not an exaggeration on my part. I genuinely feel like this Vikes team is capable of winning the league, but also coming last. And the reason why I say
yes,
that
good
is
teams.
because,
Yeah,
yeah, this standings is so tight. It's a different
yeah.
season from last year where there was one beast and everybody else was just fighting amongst each other. No, there's beasts everywhere. Logan Lake does start off to a little bit of a poor start, but it doesn't matter, right? They're new to this league and they can turn around and see where they went wrong. And now you got another team that's going to be looking for that number 1 spot. So yeah, in conclusion, it's all about monitoring the level of severity with the breakdown. You got to find a way to get back on your feet so that you can keep games within hands, within reach.
They definitely did that against the Lakers. Came back, came oh so close to their first win of the season. I liked their fight. Down 3-2 against SFU in the second period. They got some scoring chances. Hirosh just kind of stood tall. That's about it for that Red Leafs game for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
me as well.
what do you think? Should we play a game before we move on with the show?
Yes. Now, the most exciting aspect of the show, Matt Good has
Right,
cooked
right
up
on,
a
Reese.
new game. Yes, last week it was love or hate to see it. Now, that was where you would just get a statement and you love or you hate to see it, whether you're a Vikes fan or you're a BCIHL fan, doesn't really matter. It's just a measurement of whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. So this week you got something a little bit different, and it comes from a homegrown story. Isn't that correct, Matt?
Yeah, Reese. Okay, we're gonna have a new game here. You and I have been talking off air, off the broadcast, about
Yes.
maybe incorporating some French into our
We.
into our into our broadcast here.
Yeah.
I don't mean any cursing or anything like that. I mean
Yeah.
French.
Tabarnak. Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
exactly, Reese.
Yeah.
So I thought it just reminded me. There's a town. I grew up in southeast Saskatchewan. There is a famous town there near Estevan, about 30 miles from where I grew up, called Bean Fate. Okay, so Bean Fate, of course, it means well done. But the anglicized version, kind of the farmer way to say it, is Bean Fate. So I thought I'll give you a statement about the Vikes or about the BCIHL, and what I need you to do is give the situation, the player, the statement, 1 Bean Fate, 2 Bean Fates, or 3 Bean Fates. Does that make sense?
Yes. So ranking them on the level of well done, on the level of bien
Exactly.
fait. Yeah.
How many Bean Fates are you going to give this? Is what I'm
Okay.
asking.
All right.
Okay, let's start it out here. Okay, big thing we're talking about today is the Vikes hanging with the Red Leafs throughout half of the game. They're they're pretty tightly knotted, 2-2. So even though they get blown out here, they're pretty close with the Red Leafs in their rink. How many Bean Fates? 1, 2, or 3 Bean Fates for the Vikes effort?
Well, yeah, like you said, they're 2-2 until 15:42 of the second period. So less than 5 minutes to go in the second period, and they're hanging with them like there's nothing wrong. I'm gonna give them one Bienfait for this one because I just think you got to keep your feet. You got to keep your got to keep your skates on the ice with this one. You can't just get knocked down after playing a good game. Keeping it tied, keeping it level for two whole periods almost. And then there's a break, like I mentioned earlier, there's a breakdown. And how do they react to the breakdown? Poorly. It becomes a 10-2 game, which is completely non-indicative of how the game was actually played for the Vikes. So because of that, I'm gonna have to give it one Bienfait because to me, it's not the most well done you could reply to
Right on.
a game like that.
Thank you very much. One being fate. Okay, Blake Pilon, he's the returning goalie for the Vikes. He's kind of the go-to guy from the coach puts him in there the first two games. They get kind of pushed around in the first period against the Lakers, but Pilon holds him in there, right? He keeps the game close all the way to the end. 1, 2, or 3 bean fates for Pilon's effort this weekend.
I'm going to have to give him 3 Bienfaits for this one because I think in the back of Blake's head, he knows that there is 3 other goalies who, in my opinion, are great. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know whether they think they're better than each other or if the coach is, more favorable towards one goalie or not. He knows if he has a horrible game, he's not playing. It's very simple. And it's honestly, that is a notion across the team that'll be a lot more widespread this year, knowing, the depth that they have. But on the case of Pilon, I think it's 3 because he performed in 2 games where I personally feel like if there were other goalies in net, it would have been a different scoreline for both games. So I think Pilon could be the guy, but it also wouldn't hurt to try out some other goalies. Not that it would make them any better in any way, but I do feel like you want to keep that guy fully healthy and you don't want to overplay him like Carey Price in 2015. You don't want to do that because you're going to need him. And especially, considering the fact that they played the Lakers and SFU, those are 2 teams that are likely going to be problems in the playoffs, right? So knowing that, you want the goalie who played decent to play against them. Now, obviously, Pilon lost the reins a little bit in the SFU game, but like you said, it probably wasn't his fault. It was likely the team breakdown. And, Drapeau gets thrown into the Wolves a little bit, letting in 4 goals. I mean, again, the breakdown's the breakdown. There's not much you can do, but yeah, I'm going to give him 3 Bienfaits for that one because he's keeping his position between those pipes.
Right on. 3 bean fates for Pilon, keeping him in it. Yep. Okay, the Lakers. Let's move off the Vikes. The Lakers, they got 2 wins in regulation, 1 overtime loss. Shout out to the Lakers broadcast crew. They're great. Like listening to them. So they're at the top of the standings, eh? Or they're right up there.
Yep.
For the Lakers, 1 bean fate, 2 or 3 bean fates.
I'm going to give them 2. I'm going to go the last option I haven't exhausted yet in this game. And the reason why I'm going to give them 2 is it's great that they're on top of the league. It's great that they come into the season and they let it, every other team know that we're going to be just as tight as SFU, who again is following up a 12-0 season.
Yep.
And that notion is huge. The only reason why they don't get 3, in my opinion, is because again, it's early in the season. They're the only team to play 3 games. So every other team's played 2. So I mean, how many narratives can come from the amount of sample size that we have right now? But yeah, I'd say that's quite well done by the Lakers. I know they're they're probably buzzing over there. Like you said, they're
no doubt.
Their commentary team, their broadcast team is happy, and you love to see it. You love to see that. You want the league to stay competitive, but it's still early, right? So I can't I can't look at that performance right now and be like, oh, they got the rest of the league. I am not confident in saying that, especially because some of the predictions I had are turning out to be horrible. But again, hey, the season's not over, so they could turn out to be true. You never know, but yeah, looking a little rough.
Nice. Thank you, Reese. 2 bean fates for the Lakers. Good job, Lakers. Yes. I'll give a couple bean fates out here.
Okay.
I like Connor Nolan for the Vikes. 3 bean fates for the weekend from this side.
Freshman.
Yeah, it's just playing on the power play, doing some good forechecking. Like he's on the score sheet. He seems to be a leader. We're looking for a new player to push the team, the players that were here last year.
Right.
The Vikes got some sick players, some returning players, but what'll make it great is probably the new players to push those guys along. Like, hey, Connor Nolan, he's no joke. So 3 bean fates, Nolan, good job. Well done.
Yep.
And I think that's it. Maybe, there was a guy on the SFU that got a hat trick, Parkhouse.
Right.
I'll give SFU 1.5 bean fates. These teams, they're starting at home. They got a bit of swagger going.
Yes.
They got some swagger. They're playing in their rink. They're gelling. So just 1.5 bean fates for these guys so far. Because you know what? These teams are going to have to come over and play the Vikes on their ice too, right?
Correct.
So before we go, any more bean fates you want to hand out?
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit back in time a little bit, and give the Mariners a bien fate, because those, they pulled the overtime win away from the Lakers, and knowing what type of team this Lakers team is, that also sets the Mariners up for some confidence going into the next few games. So I'm gonna give them about 2. I'm not gonna give them all the way because again, it's early in the season, it's only 2 games, but I think they deserve it. I think the Mariners do deserve a little bit of praise for their efforts. Yeah, against 2 great teams, right? So, yeah.
Yep, the Mariners. Well, we'll be seeing them again, no doubt. The Razor and the Plumber. We'll see if anyone can catch the Plumber for a scoring leader.
Yeah,
that'll be a story through the year.
Yeah, 8 points on the season already.
Well, around the BCIHL, what's going to happen in the next week or 2, Reese?
So, yeah, we are looking at. We got 3 games this weekend. Now the Vikes are getting another break. A little bit of an interesting start to the season for the Vikes. They
it is.
Yeah, I have a lot of breaks, but there will be 1 game on the Friday. So tomorrow at 7 p.m., you can watch the Mariners and the Red Leafs face off in Burnaby. That'll be on Hockey TV. And then Saturday, we got 2 games. We got the Logan Lake Miners against the SFU Red Leafs. So I mean, you could expect a blowout, or the Logan Lake Miners do exactly what a lot of these other teams have been doing, which is surprising the fans, surprising the league, surprising the other teams, and also just creating even more tightness in between in the standings.
Yeah,
right? Just creating.
We're rooting for the Miners.
Right, exactly. Right. So don't what's that called? Count anyone out yet. There's no point in counting anyone out yet. But also on Saturday, so that Logan Lake game versus the Red Leafs is going to be at 3:45. You can find that on Hockey TV. And then as well at 6:30 p.m., the Mariners are going to be facing off against the Lakers again. So
nice.
2 repeat games for the Mariners. Played both those teams in their first 2 games, and they're going to be playing them again this weekend. Sick. So yeah, we will have a roundup about that this week coming. And wow, it'll be interesting to see what that means for the Vikes.
Yeah, we'll see who gets a bean fate next time.
Yep.
You know what? I want to hand out a big thanks to Dustin Deugau. This is the assistant captain for the Vikes. 3 bean fates for you, Dustin. Thanks for coming on the show. We got an interview coming up here.
Yep.
Reese, you want to interview that puppy?
Yeah.
What is it called? Introduce it?
Introduce, yeah. Yes. Yeah. I didn't even catch that. Yeah. So we luckily yesterday I was a little busy, but Matt here was able to get a great interview with the assistant captain Dustin Deugau. He comes from Alberta. He's playing with his brother. Lots more details. Don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, he's an interesting fella. He's a great guy, great speaker, and I can see why the coaches felt justified to give him the A. He seems like a great guy. I'd love to be there for the interview one of these times. Hopefully we can get more players and all that. But yeah, so right after we're done here, we'll throw it right into that interview that happened yesterday. And yeah.
Yep, Dustin Deugau is going to give you a little bit of inside what it's like to be a member of the Vikes, a little bit about college sports, and being a young hockey player coming up. It's lots of respect for Deugau. He's the leader of this team. He's talking
Yep.
about how the team is gelling and going to find their groove this season. So you
Yep.
got to check it out. Lots of bean fates.
Yes.
Love to see it.
And lots of love to see it. Yeah. I'm sure
Exactly.
there'll be more, games and quotes from this podcast that we're going to recycle every time we think something is good. But yeah. So yeah, that concludes
For
fourth
sure.
episode of In the Corners. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to toss it on over to Matt and Dustin. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and we will catch you in a
Yeah.
week. Anything else you'd like to add there, Matt?
Thanks very much, Reese. Take it easy, everybody.
All right. See you later.
All right. Hi, folks. Hi out there. Welcome to a special segment of In the Corners. I'm Matt. Today we're here. We got a special guest today, number 65 from the Vikes, assistant captain. Dustin Deugau is here on the show. Everyone give a round of applause. If you're driving, say hello. Dustin, how's it going today?
Good, Mike. Good. Thanks for having me out.
I know. Thanks for being here. Really excited to have you on the show. This is my first year watching the Vikes. I'm a fan already.
Right on.
Dustin, how long have you been with the Vikes?
Yeah, this is my first season here, right? So I've just been getting to know the guys probably same time frame as you. So pretty much started at the end of August here, it's just with the start of school and everything. So
Where did you come from last year?
yeah, I wasn't playing competitive hockey last year. I was at UVic. I'm in the law program here, so I was just kind of focusing on school and everything last year. And then yeah, I just reached out to Alec and talked to the coaches, and I was like pretty excited to get back to playing some competitive hockey. So it worked out well that I was able to kind of get back into it this season.
Oh, that's so cool to hear. You had a year to just reset the Jets, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just try to do my best student impression, right? And then I realized better at being a student athlete, so I better get back on the ice.
Before we get into the season, how is your studies going, and how has your year been going at school?
Yeah, it's been good. It's always nice to kind of get a break from the summer job and kind of get back into the books a little bit. So yeah, I can't complain. I definitely enjoy the school lifestyle of going to class and kind of getting your downtime here and there, and just kind of having the weeks always being different, right? Lots of variability going on, right? So yeah, no, I can't complain right now, having a good time.
Well, wish you luck with your school program in law, wherever it takes you. It
Yeah,
sounds
right on.
exciting. And we got anybody watching on video, we got our baseball caps on. We're ready. We're ready to get fired up for this interview. I am.
Yeah, best time of the year for baseball for sure.
Yeah.
I should have
So
a Mariners cap on now though.
yeah, you're going to go for the Mariners now.
Well, I think so. Proximity here, it's pretty close. It's pretty fun to watch those guys. Might try, hoping to sneak down for a game, but that might be a little unrealistic, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just slowly getting over a bit of heartache from the Jays. I'm a diehard Jays fan,
Yeah.
but these things happen. Things slip away. Things come around, and it's just a wild games. Hey,
Yeah, no, I'm definitely Jay's number one. That would have been awesome to see them go through, right? But it's cool that Seattle's right here is doing well as well.
are you into any other sports besides hockey? Like, are you a super fan of other stuff?
Yeah, I definitely follow the major sports leagues for sure. But yeah, big golf nut. Last couple of years, just kind of getting into golf and just watching the PGA Tour, even Live Tour now, all these guys, and just kind of throwing golf on pretty much in the background's my go-to sport to follow.
Who's the guy who's kind of got the potty mouth? DeChambeau?
Uh, I
Isn't
don't
he
know if
kind
he's
of
got
a?
the
Who's the guy who's raising havoc all the time?
uh definitely him. Yeah, he says some controversial things. He's
Yeah.
not necessarily the most well-liked guy out there. Yeah, Mickelson was kind of saying some stuff there too, right? Lots of drama lately in golf world. Usually it's a pretty quiet white collar sport, but it's kind of seen
Yeah.
some excitement lately.
How's your game going?
It can always be better, right? But I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I made some good strides this summer. Definitely was playing like 3, 4 times a week, and
Oh,
lots
nice.
of practice and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I haven't been out recently with school and hockey and everything, but yeah, definitely I'm having a good time with it.
That's good, man. Well, if you ever need it, they call me the weed whacker because I'm in the bush all day. Well, when did you start playing hockey? Like, how did you get into all this? Like, where'd you grow up and start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I'm from Calgary, so obviously, out west there, and in the prairies, it's pretty cold in the winters, and hockey is kind of like the number one sport for all the kids growing up, right? So yeah, just playing with my brothers, and my dad got us into it at a pretty early age. Don't even really remember starting, just kind of always
Right.
having been known to skate and all that stuff, right? So yeah, just kind of growing up in Calgary and always watching the Flames and Hitmen kind of as like the teams to follow and watch, and kind of inspire me to try to keep going further and get as good as I possibly can.
Who was some of your favorite players when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, that was a big guy to watch for the Flames, big star there. Sid and Datsuk were probably my two favorite players growing up. Despite me being the defense, those guys were probably my favorite guys to watch. I think Sid's probably my favorite player of all time right now, still. So just his overall game and compete and just how he handles himself, it's quite the role model to look up to.
Oh yeah, and he's so strong when he gets the puck down low.
Yeah,
That's what I think of him, just kind of motoring, right?
yeah, absolutely. Just kind of controlling it in all three zones, right? That's kind of what he does, right?
You need like a sledgehammer to knock him over.
Yeah, really. Yeah, good guy to model your game after for sure. Can't go wrong with that.
So was your older brother, or did you have older brothers, or?
Younger, I'm the
Uh,
oldest. Yeah,
yeah, me too. So, but my brother was a wicked goalie, but he went a bit further than me. I'm the older brother. Did
yeah,
you
yeah.
play? Did you play with your brothers ever?
I never would have been on their teams. This is like my younger brother Lyndon is on the team this year, so this is the first time I've ever played
Right.
hockey with a brother, and he's the youngest, so he's 4 years younger than me. So we would have been really separate growing up. So now it's pretty cool that we're able to, kind of be on a team together for the first time.
Oh man, that's great. Hope you guys have lots of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite like hockey memory from over the years? Something that comes to mind that sticks out to you?
Um, yeah, I mean, obviously lots of ups and downs on the hockey journeys, right? I mean, probably just like, kind of those big milestone things, right? Like getting to play your first junior game, getting picked to go make a junior team out in Ontario there was pretty awesome for me. We won a championship there in my second year in juniors in the league, and just kind of really had a overall like successful year. And that was just, lots of great memories on and off the ice with the guys, obviously when things are going well. And then getting to go to Trinity Western there for my first degree was awesome to get like that dream come true to play college hockey, right? And just kind of have that whole everything kind of come together of my academic and athletic goals kind of meet in one. So that was like really awesome too. And then yeah, just kind of getting the experience to go to Sweden last year, or the year before, sorry, was like an awesome way to just kind of see the world and everything, and just kind
That's
of
awesome.
put a bow on some put a bow on some cool experiences, right? So yeah, definitely hard to say, but just a lot of the relationships with the guys and the teammates is probably the biggest one that stands out, right, and lasts the longest throughout this.
Which team were you playing on that won the championship in Ontario?
Fort Francis Lakers. So we were just a couple
Oh,
hours away from Thunder Bay there, yeah, in between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay.
your hockey career is taking you all over the world, pretty much, eh? All over Canada and
Yeah,
overseas.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, don't think I would have seen those parts of Ontario without playing hockey, right? And then especially up in Sweden too.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you put some pretty cool experiences and cool people along the way.
We played a gig in Sioux Lookout once. I'm a guitar player, hey? So we
Right
played
on.
in Sioux Lookout. I think that's over by Fort Francis somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, sounds familiar. I'm a little rusty on the Northern Ontario
Yeah.
geography right now, but I think I recall hearing that. Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot different than Calgary for sure. It's pretty different for me going over there.
Well, I love Aginla too. I grew up in Regina, so I love Ryan Smith and Aginla, which doesn't make any sense, but I love them
Yeah,
both.
yeah, yeah. That's two pretty gritty leaders there on the Alberta teams for a while. So yeah, I can't blame you there.
Right on. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that about you've had such a long hockey career already. That's brought a lot to you. And you're an assistant captain on this team. What
Yeah,
is let's turn to the Vikes season so far.
yeah,
What's
yeah,
one thing that you're looking forward to and excited about, and one thing that you think the team needs to work on? Something that's going good and something that the
yeah,
team needs to work on.
yeah. Obviously, I think I'm really excited about the guys this year. We got a really good group in the locker room. Everybody's really fun, gets along really well. I feel like we're a pretty cohesive group. There's not, little cliques or anything like that. Like the guys all really get along, and we all kind of share that common goal, that share common love for like playing hockey and putting in the work and everything. But yeah, I think with that, we know we got to get kind of maybe translate some of that cohesiveness a little bit more to the on ice chemistry. Lots of guys coming from different backgrounds hockey wise. So I think,
Right.
we kind of got to get onto the same page a little bit with some of our structure and kind of just knowing where we are on the ice a little bit. Cause I think the talent and effort is there for the guys, right? We just kind of got to get to know how we play and how our tendencies are on the ice a little bit better. But yeah, definitely like the group.
Yeah, lots of new players,
Mm-hmm.
lots of freshmen. And, I had noticed that so far you're even on the defensive pairings, you've been kind of switching around in preseason and still going. So you've played with Gattenby a bit, Von Schonberg, and even on the power play with Nolan, right? The coach
Mm-hmm.
likes to do that. So is that those type of things, is that what you're talking about here?
Yeah, definitely. We're just kind of trying to figure out the, line combinations, whose kind of tendencies work well with each other and all that
Right.
stuff, right? Putting guys in different situations and just seeing whose skill sets kind of complement each other and kind of who's can help make up for someone's maybe lacking in certain areas or kind of help, improve someone in certain things. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously going to be lots of line juggling and stuff like that throughout the years. So that's kind of part of the way it goes, right? You got to be able to be adaptable and work with all the guys. So
Well, I'm excited to see how it plays out for you guys and all the players. Who's kind of the funniest player on the team or the lighthearted that brings something good in the dressing room to lighten the mood?
yeah, yeah, there's lots of good funny guys on the team there. A young guy, Blake Bentham there, he's been pretty funny lately. He's been bringing some laughs, but also some lots of cologne into the room. Kind of
Right.
sparking the guys up, getting some good laughs out of that. Making sure all the boys are smelling good before and after practice, right? So
You don't want to
yeah,
light a
lots,
you don't want to light a smoke around Bentham because his hair will start on fire.
yeah. Well, yeah, he's smelling great all the time. So yeah, you got to be careful with that around him, right? But
Nice.
no, yeah, lots of good funny guys on the team for sure. But he's one who stuck out for us on this last road trip, being a funny guy and everything.
Oh, I love to hear it. Who's kind of a serious player that's the most serious and down to business on the team?
Down to business. Um, yeah, well, Captain Danny Gattenby there, he's a pretty serious guy. He's you know, likes to be a big student athlete type guy. So he's always down to business in the classroom, like he claims. No one's really seen it yet. So he
Right.
claims to be in the classroom 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for the most part. So he kind of tries to keep that vibe going on the ice with his persona and being down to business and keeping everyone in check. But yeah, he's a hard worker, right? So he's always got his nose down and ready to grind it out.
Love to hear it in the library. Just double shifting.
Yeah, allegedly, he I haven't seen him yet. I mean, I'm at the library right now. There's no sign of him, right? But he claims to be always grinding, so we'll see.
We'll see if we see the captain anywhere crack a book at all.
Yeah.
Um, so what you mentioned this a little bit, so maybe I'll skip that one. Hey, during the game, you're getting into the game. What's something that you might get caught yelling from the bench? You know, if there was like a hidden camera on you, and you're
Yeah.
like, what's something that would get caught you yelling?
Uh Honestly, yeah, I don't think I'm a big yeller. Maybe I just yeah, calling for the puck. Definitely want to get the forwards to move the puck back to the D man a lot. It might be on their butt a little bit about a couple passes they looked off passing it back to the point, or kind of wanting to get them more involved and cycling it back to the defense. I like to kind of have the puck on my stick and generate from the back end there. So yeah, for the most part, no yelling like that. Maybe if I get hit from behind or something like that, maybe a swear or something like that at the buddy or the ref, but no, not too much.
You want to be involved in the play, right? You want the
Yeah.
nice. Love to hear it. Well, what other things are you interested in before we wrap up? Wonder about like if you have a favorite hockey music, or if you have, do you have any favorite tunes or bands?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of cycling through quite a few. I got country's kind of the go-to. Easy listening, driving around, country music's going for sure. In the gym, I like classic rock, some hard rock, get the excitement going, all that, and then definitely like hip hop and rap too in the mix there. So kind of got a good vibe going there. But yeah, definitely into some of the '80s bands for in the gym there. Kiss and Def Leppard. Metallica is probably my number one for hitting the gym and all that stuff. So
Metallica has some popular songs. I've heard of them.
yeah, absolutely, hard not to.
So, hey, is there any other country fans on the team, or are you the only one? Because there's not a lot of prairie people on this thing.
Yeah, I definitely know there's some country fans on the team. Bentham, he was blasting country tunes. He's chatting about Country Fest all the time and
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever Sunfest it is out on the island here. And then yeah, some of the other Prairie boys there. Blake, the other Blake, he sneaks in the country tunes. We kind of mix that in the morning. Vosser's a good Camrose boy, right? So he drives his big truck, so he's automatically got the country tunes pumping in that thing, right?
Well, you mentioned Blake. Do you mean Pilon, the goalie?
Yeah.
You guys got two or three pretty capable goalies. How do you think
Yeah.
that's going to play out this year?
Yeah, I think with those three guys, I'm hoping to see them like really push each other, right? Like when you have that kind of parity within in the net, any guy could kind of do the job. It kind of hopefully that kind of makes each other push each other to be their best, right? That kind of is like a nice feeling for the defense and the team to have three competent goalies back there, because then like it's not like it's a drop off any one night when one guy's not playing. So hopefully, yeah, when there's guys who can all pull the rope there, it kind of helps each other be better. And so I think I kind of see that with them in practice, kind of pushing each other to be better. So hopefully that
Nice.
kind of translate to the ice and getting them to improve throughout the year.
Yeah, something we've been watching. There's some good goalie battle, all capable goalies there.
Yeah, definitely.
A couple things. You guys have 2 games, regular season games under your belt. And then you have an off week. Then you're hosting the Red Leafs coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you want to establish in that next game for your next
Yeah.
step for the Vikes?
Yeah, obviously these last 2 games didn't turn out the way we were hoping for. But obviously I think there's some good stepping stones we can take from them, right? Like obviously some good lessons. It's early in the year, you're gonna have some wrinkles and hiccups there. But yeah, obviously we're gonna be really, really motivated to come out with a much stronger effort next time. Definitely don't want to be losing 2 games like that in the first couple of weeks of the season. So obviously with it being the home opener and everything, we have extra incentive to, kind of put on a good show for friends and family and classmates around the Victoria area here. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a good game for us, and like we're definitely have it circle ready to get going and start focusing now to get ready for that big game.
Right on. Well, can't wait to see you down there. We're looking forward to a season. Thank you
Right
very
on.
much, Dustin Deugau, assistant captain, 65. When you come down to the rink, check him out. He'll be playing the quarterback, whipping it around, calling for the puck nonstop. And really nice of you to come by the show. You want to give a shout out or anything before we get out of here? I'll leave the last word to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's listening out there, but mom and dad are out there. Hi, how's it going? I love you guys back home. Thanks for everything, right? Yeah, and that's what it. Thanks a lot, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thanks very much.